What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the start of a new series where we do trades for every single NBA team. So the way this is going to work is we're going to draw up 3 trades for every single team depending on the team's interests, whether they're contending, rebuilding, selling, all that stuff. So today we're going to start with the Dallas Mavericks. And the Mavericks, this season, they've been underperforming to say the least. They have an MVP candidate named Luka Doncic, one of the best players in the league, but they've not really put the pieces around him to have lots of success. So, they traded Kristaps Porzingis last year to the Washington Wizards to get Spencer Dinwiddie. After that experiment didn't work out, and they've also gotten Christian Wood from the Houston Rockets this year, but things still aren't looking so good. They're just a mediocre team, 11-11 right now, and they really need to jump themselves up in the standings if they want to skip out of the play-in. Because if the playoffs ended today, they would be playing the Portland Trail Blazers, my fault. So it's not the greatest for them. They would be playing as a 10th seed, so it's not the best for them right now. They're really trying to move up, and I honestly think that the ceiling of this team is maybe the 4th seed here, with the Memphis Grizzlies at 13 wins. They're 2 games back, Mavs are 4 games back. That's where I really see the ceiling of this team after all the trades. So each trade, as you know, we have 3 trades, so each trade is going to be something different. So we're going to start off with something easy, something light, very, very realistic. And the other one is going to be a little more spicier, trying to go out there and get a great player. And the last one is going to be a crazy trade, very unrealistic, but everything's all over the place. So let's get started with our first trade with the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets. So the Dallas Mavericks, will be receiving Mason Plumlee and Kelly Oubre Jr., and we will be giving up Reggie Bullock, Dwight Powell, and a 2025 second round pick. So it's a very, very equal trade per se in terms of positions. You're giving up a center for a center, small forward for a small forward, but also in terms of talent, you're really getting that upgrade, I would say, at that small forward position for Kelly Oubre. While it's not major, he's much better than Reggie Bullock. He pretty much does everything Reggie Bullock does, but just at a higher level, and he is younger on that expiring contract. So you have Kelly Oubre there, a major upgrade, I would say, over Reggie Bullock, while it's not a superb upgrade. And then Dwight Powell and Mason Plumlee, just trying to switch up the scenery there. Mason Plumlee, I would personally say, is a higher level starting center than Dwight Powell, and they're both on expiring deals. The Charlotte Hornets right now, they're just trying to sell. They've had 7 wins, they're not going anywhere. So pretty fair trade all around, I would say. Yeah, that is our first trade of the video. Our second trade is with the Denver Nuggets. Now, people might say, the Denver Nuggets, why would they give up Michael Porter Jr. right now? Well, they are sitting with 14 wins. You don't know the health of Michael Porter Jr. He's had that back surgery twice now. He's been injured over multiple years, and you really don't know the health of the team overall, considering Jamal Murray is coming out from the ACL tear, and they have some older guys on the team. So, saying them, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Powell, Shaden Hardy, and a first round pick for 2024 that is top 10 protected, I would say is a very fair trade. As when you look at things, right? You look at their roster, you have Jokic at center, Jamal Murray. You have Tim Hardaway Jr., who would slot in as a starting small forward, with Aaron Gordon as that starting power forward. You have Dwight Powell to come off your bench because you really don't have that backup center. You have Jeff Green, who's playing the forward. Zeke Naji, who's really young, but Zeke Naji or Dwight Powell. I would go for Dwight Powell over Zeke Naji. And you also have DeAndre Jordan on this team, so you're really getting an upgrade there for the backup center position. And then you add a great young piece in Jaden Hardy, a real bucket on the team. You have some shooting here for KCP. You have Bones Highland here, but a real upgrade with Jaden Hardy on that team. You don't even have to, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, depending on what the Denver Nuggets would want here. Jaden Hardy, you might not even have to give him up in this situation, but he was a high school talent, a really sought after guy, but it just didn't work out so well, and he fell in the second round. But still, he's really talented, and that is our second, a little spicy trade, trying to get that potential superstar Michael Porter Jr., who has lots of potential, but hasn't really showcased it this season, just averaging 16 points. So that is our second trade. Our last one is a very crazy trade. We have the Dallas Mavericks, the Atlanta Hawks, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the San Antonio Spurs getting involved here. So let's break this down by team. So starting off with the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks will be receiving, starting off with the Dallas Mavericks, my apologies, Justin Holiday, Jakob Poeltl, John Collins, and Najee Marshall. So 2 players from the Hawks, a player from the Spurs, and a player from the Pelicans. So first I'm just going to go through the trade and then I'll break it down. Next up for the Atlanta Hawks, Davis Bertans, Dwight Powell, Willie Juancho Hernan-Gomez, a 2003 unprotected first round pick from the New Orleans Pelicans, and a 2025 top 10 protected first round pick. The New Orleans Pelicans would receive JaVale McGee and Bogdan Bogdanovic, and the San Antonio Spurs would receive Garrett Temple, Frank Ntilikina, Jackson Hayes, Kira Lewis Jr., a 2024 first round pick from Milwaukee, and a top 10 protected 2024 first round pick from the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the way this is going to go here is you're going to have, starting off with the Hawks. They're really trying to change things up there, as they're a contending team, but they're just 4th in the standings. They're 13-10, so whilst they are 4th, it doesn't really look so good for them, as they're 5 games back from the top seeded Boston Celtics. So you finally get that John Collins trade. You also give up a veteran in Justin Holiday here, and you're really clearing the books here for the Atlanta Hawks. You're trying to cut down on that luxury tax by giving up John Collins, and then you're also going to give up Bogdan Bogdanovic to the Pelicans. Now the Pelicans, they're really easy here in this trade. They have lots of draft capital. The Pelicans, they can really go after a superstar, but right now there's not really a superstar player available. The Pelicans are balling out with Point Zion. They're currently 3rd with a game back, so they have the same record as the Denver Nuggets. So they're really playing really well. So it wouldn't really make sense to make a trade like that right away. But considering that the Pelicans, they don't really have anyone who's a shooter on their team, as you can see on their team right now. Like, you look at their roster, they have CJ McCollum, who can knock down the 3, but he's not really even a 3-point sniper per se. You have Brandon Ingram, mid-range specialist. He can also hit a 3. Jonas Valanciunas can't really, not really Zion. Devontae Graham, not really. I would say maybe Herb Jones, maybe Trey Murphy, but other than that, you don't really have someone like that. So you would add a good shooter on the team with Bogdan Bogdanovic, and a good backup center with JaVale McGee, a good veteran backup center, as you don't really have a big now. So JaVale would be getting good minutes on a team that is contending, and yeah, I really like that for the Pelicans. Now for the Spurs, they're really trying to get young here. They're rebuilding. They're trying to tank for Victor Wembanyama. So they would be getting a former first-round pick in Kira Lewis Jr., who's not gotten any playing time this season because of his injury that he's recovering from, but he's expected to do that soon. But then you have Jackson Hayes, who's just been sitting on the bench for the Pelicans, a former top 10 pick out of Texas. He was a really good baller, back in college, but it's just not transpired. So he went from being the starting power forward for them last season to not getting any minutes from this season. He's only gotten like a couple, if any, I believe. So you get a young player in Jackson Hayes to run that 5. In the meantime, see what you can get out of him in the last year of his contract. You have Frank Ntilikina and Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple can also play the shooting guard, small forward if need be, and Frank Ntilikina if you need any minutes for the point guard position. Now next up, you go to the Atlanta Hawks. Davis Bertans doesn't really make sense in the sense of he's a negative asset, but that's why you get that first round pick with Davis Bertans is someone who can really only shoot the ball. He can't play defense, and that's he's kind of washed up into that. But still, you have Davis Bertans. Dwight Powell as a center. Get you a good backup if you're going to have Nyeke Okongwu run the 4 now because of the John Collins trade or whatever you're going to do there. And then you have Willie Hunter Gomez just to sit on the bench, really give you a couple minutes. And you get a couple picks from that. So that's our last trade. And just going back to the Dallas Mavericks here, they get their starting center here in Jakob would start. You get your starting power forward in John Collins here. Najee Marshall can give you some PT off the bench. Justin Holiday can also do the same thing with some good veteran experience. So you're really improving the depth of your team here. Giving up some draft capital, as you can see, but I would think it's worth it. So that's kind of the crazy trade. And I know it says failed here, but this is assuming that this is done after December 15th for the JaVale McGee contract. So there you have it. We have 3 trades, one with the Hornets, one with the Denver Nuggets, and one with the Atlanta Hawks, Pelicans, and Spurs. So currently, the Dallas Mavericks sit at the 10th seed at an even 11-11 record, and we shall see what they do. Their upcoming games, it's funny to play the Denver Nuggets a couple nights from now, but they play the Suns tomorrow and all, so yeah, we should see. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of this series, and peace.